Balek Ufazar served as captain of the Thousand Sons' Fifth Fellowship during the Great Crusade and Horus Heresy. Born on Prospero, Ufazar would show immense potential with his ascension through the ranks of the 15th Legion until his promotion to the rank of Magister Templi of the Athenaean cult in the wake of the Battle of the World of Kamenka Troika. Seconded to the Space Wolves Legion during his days of training, Ufazar would be returned to his legion with the conclusion of only a year alongside the 6th Legion. Though it is unknown which legion would terminate their cooperative endeavors, Ufazar would regardless tell grand tales of the rout of Fenris and their deeds with his reunion to his kin. Adept at reading and transmitting the thoughts of others using telepathic powers, Ufazar would once again fight alongside the Space Wolves during the Algoru campaign, further strengthening his bond with the 6th Legion. Yet with the joint campaign of the Arcreach Cluster, such a fraternal bond would be broken. Within the great library of the Phoenix Crag, the Thousand Sons would retrieve tomes of their felled enemies and seek to harness their forbidden knowledge. The great company of Amlodi Skarson would charge the ranks of the Thousand Sons for their transgression of pillaging corrupting knowledge. Ordered by Magnus to put down the wolves of Fenris, the Pavoni cult would cast energies into the bodies of the Space Wolves, aimed at deoxygenating their blood from their lungs and incapacitating their bodies. As the skirmish spiraled out of hand, Hastur of the First Fellowship would begin to mutate into an abomination of the flesh change. Felled by Leman Russ with a round of his bolter, further bloodshed would be prevented with the intervention of Primarch Lorgar Aurelian and a ceasefire overseen by the Word-Bearers. Summoned to answer for their corrupting ailment during the Council of Nicaea, the Thousand Sons would be censured from using their warp-drawn powers to prevent further catastrophe. With Magnus the Red's continued dabbling into the great ocean of the Immaterium, the Crimson King would observe the corruption of the War Master of the Imperium and attempt to warn the Emperor of the impending betrayal of the Traitor Rebellion. Destroying the Imperial Webway project during his breach of the psychic wards of the Imperial Palace, Magnus the Red would pay for his misdeeds. The Master of Mankind would dispatch Leman Russ to bring the Thousand Sons to Terra for judgment. However, with the intervention of Horus Lupercal, the orders of the Vilka Fenrica would be manipulated and demand the extermination of the 15th Legion. Foreseeing the impending destruction of his people, homeworld, and legion, Magnus the Red would allow for the impending tide to absolve him of his meddling. Ufazar, by virtue of his skill in telepathy, would foresee the impending wrath of the rout and confront his Primarch within his chambers alongside an honor guard of Scarab occult terminators. Ordering Ufazar to leave his presence, Magnus would in his overwhelmed state reveal to Ufazar his bargain with the beings of the warp in staving off the flesh change of the Legion. Shocked at his Primarch's betrayal of the Imperium's ideals and his willingness to allow his people to perish for his failures, Ufazar would attempt to warn his Legion of their impending misfortune. Yet Magnus would not allow for his treachery to be discovered and slay Ufazar and his men with a blast of his psychic might. His stalwart and loyal son, betrayed in his last act to preserve his Legion and the innocence of Prospero.